what are some of the other things that aren't covered under the funds that have been set up, or
so
insurance?
many things that you wouldn't even think about. I mean, I talk to a lot of widows as well, and when they're in the worst time of their life, and some things that I hear that are very important is, and you wouldn't think about as a healthy person, if your spouse is sick, big thing is you want to always remain in the same bedroom. You always want to remain in the same bed with your wife or your husband. No one wants to have to worry about a hospital bed in the middle of the living room. That's a big thing.
Right.
And I find that that's a very big thing for our responders. You have to remember, all of our responders are heroes. Heroes don't get sick. Heroes wear capes, right? So when you're sick, what do? You call us and we come. So we're never in the mindset, even when we're sick, that we're sick.
Right.
Our immediate response is, I don't get sick because I help the sick. So it's very hard that when you're sick and you're dying and you're going to die. And I've been there with my brothers when they do die, and their wives and their children, and they can't be in their bedroom. Why? They can't be in their bedroom because they can't be in a comfortable bed, because the bed doesn't suit them depending on their medical needs.
Right.
They can't be in their bedroom because they can't get up the stairs because they don't have a stair chair. They can't get in their bedrooms because they don't have a wheelchair to wheel them around, to get to their bed, to get in a stair chair, to move them. A Hoyer lift. To move them from the wheelchair to the bed, because they don't have the care of an aide because it's not covered.
Right.
I mean, think about that moment. You're going to lose the person you love, and you simply can't do the thing that you've done for all these years from when you got married, is just be in bed.
There's no way to imagine
and comfort that person. You can't. And I'll be honest with you, I never thought about it until I was in these situations. I never thought about the fact of not being able to take my children to see the Christmas tree in Manhattan because I can't push a wheelchair and strollers.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think about that. This is what I mean about the never forget. A chairlift. So now they can't even be upstairs anymore. So now you have to redesign your house so you could move a living room, and you don't have a playroom, or so your loved one, our heroes, our members that they said they would never forget, has a place to be and die in dignity with the proper medical care.
Right.
It's real. We lost 165 members this year. And Sal and I have spent a lot of time with these members. When they died, they've died in front of us. And it was my honor to be there. And it was Sal's honor to be there with them. And we talked to all the families. But it's a reality. And a lot of people don't get it. A car. How about a car? A big thing for us was Ray's scooter. I would have needed a certain van.
You would have to...
With a hitch, a lift.
Right.
And then look what they figured out. They found this amazing scooter that comes apart and folds, and I could put it in the trunk of any car. There's nowhere Sal can't go now. Why? Because of Ray.
Are there
and
other
his
funds,
organization.
Are there other funds being set up to cover and bridge some? I know the foundation that we're here talking about today, the Ray Pfeifer Foundation, is raising money to help cover some of that. But
correct.
There's so many medical costs. There's so many expenses.
Huge.
Are there new funds being set up? Is there money tied up in litigation? Is that we can't get our hands on? What seems to be the problem in Washington that these people can't be cared for?
I don't know that. I don't know the correct answer to that, actually. I know that Ray himself walked the halls of the Capitol with every funeral he went to with that prayer card in his pocket. Our government officials are giving us business cards. Ray was handing back a prayer card of a funeral he went to. Those were his cards. And he walked those halls to fight for the benefits from the VCF program that help our members. Their help. They keep these members in their homes. They get the medical treatment that our brothers and sisters need to keep them alive, to keep them going every day. I pray to God that funding, that's a death sentence. Should we ever lose the VCF or any federal programs like that, that's a death sentence for every person that's sick from the WTC. When it comes to the Ray Pfeifer Foundation, though, there aren't organizations like it. There aren't many. There are some, but there aren't many like the Pfeifer organization, because these types of organizations are in our face. They're holding our hands when our loved ones are dying. They're there saying and giving us the hope when we don't see hope like Ray did, giving us the smallest amount of hope to say it's going to be okay. You can't imagine the feeling unless you're there. You can't. It's not natural to understand that feeling.
And Sal, where are you as you sit here today with your cancer journey?
Well, stage 4 liver cancer. Right now it's being treated. The treatment is to keep the tumors from getting bigger or growing into other parts of my body. So there's no chemotherapy or no radiation that could put me in a position of remission. So I'm in a terminal status. So for now, it's just keep staying alive and making memories with my wife and my children, and doing what I can to help people and make other people's lives better. I'm trying to, whatever people gave me, I'm trying to pay back. That's my ultimate goal. So if someone needs something, I'll try to get them to talk to this guy so he can help them. And I'll do whatever Ray did. You know, I can't do as well as he did, but you know, if they need me to go down to Washington and campaign to keep things going, I'll do it. If they need some people having problems with the city and state, I'm willing to go and lobby to change legislation so that people who are at the event will be helped and not get turned down for funding and pensions and whatever else that could happen to them. It's a fight that goes on every day. It doesn't stop. And hopefully no one forgets us. We're still here.
Are we making progress?
It's a slow progress.
At times.
It's slow.
I could tell you a specific situation of a lieutenant that we lost last year. He was at home in hospice, and they would only give his wife 4 hours a day of care. That's what they would pay for. That's it. What do you do with the other 20? What does she do? They didn't have children.
She left her job.
But she had to quit her job and give up her life, which I know she has no regrets. And I know she would have done it 20 times over. But you're talking about our World Trade Center heroes that saw the most horrific things in the world that you can imagine. That they sacrificed themselves to just bring someone home, or something of someone home. Not even someone, a part of someone home, to give that family some peace. And now 18 years later, or 17 years later, they're dying. And the only thing that medical insurance will offer a dying hero is 4 hours of care. What happens to the other 20?
Right.
What does he do? So it's things like that and the stories we hear, which is why you have organizations like the Pfeifer Foundation, which thank God, because without organizations such as theirs, and there's some others that we know, we would be lost. That's just another example. 165 died this year, 165 people. One thing, I had this conversation with Ray, and it was in the World Trade Center Memorial, and it was the last time we saw him. And I said to him, you know what gets me annoyed, Ray? When I talk to people, they say, you know, we lost 343 firefighters, and that is true. We lost 343 heroes. We lost a lot of civil servants that day, on top of the civilians that died,
Right.
and didn't know they were going to die when they went to work that day.
Right.
And they give you these numbers of the thousands we lost, but I feel that that number is not true. And the reason why I feel that is I think that every person that went to work that day died. I just know my husband got another 17 years. I know when Ray went to do his work that day on September 11th of 2001, and he worked until May in 2002, I believe Ray sacrificed his life that day as well. I just know that Ray got an additional 16 years, and thank God he did, to make memories with his children that deserve him.
Right.
But now his wife and his children need to go on without them, as well as the other 165 members.
And
I know that everybody that went to work that day, it's not if they're going to die, it's when. And what we have to remember is that we can't lose focus on those people. There's a lot of children, there's a lot of wives, there's a lot of husbands that will be affected in the upcoming years. And we need to support them, whether it's emotionally, whether it's financially, with medical, whatever they need. And we need not to forget them. We need to never forget their sacrifice.
And Wendy, being somebody that has served as well, how is your health?
My health is okay. I mean, I look at it this way. If my Sal's okay, I'm okay. If my children are okay, then I'm okay. If my phone's not ringing, that someone is dying, I'm okay. I'm not okay when it's knocking at my door again. That's when I'm not okay. Because I need to be strong for Sal, and I need to be strong for my friends, and I need to be strong for my children. That's what makes it happen. That's what makes us keep going every day.
So how can people that are watching this help?
There's so many ways. I mean,
to pick up the phone and to
just
call, what
listen,
can
there's so
somebody
many
do to
ways.
get involved?
Sure. There's so many ways to find foundations like the Pfeifer Foundation. With internet today, with social media capabilities, to just pick up and if you don't have the money, how could I help?
Yeah,
what could I
volunteering.
do? They have a big golf outing coming up. I know not everybody could afford a ticket. I get it. I understand it.
They also got the scared stick.
But come and help. Come and shake the hands of the people that are buying the tickets and saying, you know what, thank you for helping us.
Yeah.
Just show up. Sometimes be a face, be a voice, talk about it. They're still alive. They're still alive. Can I say one thing? Can we go off a second?
Sure.
Can I talk about Tim for a minute?
Sure.
Can I mix that in? Yeah? Okay, so we could go back. So I have a good friend, and I always say he's one of the most interesting men, other than Ray. Let's face it. I
Now
work
you're
in a
making
man's
me
world.
blush.
No, let's
Oh,
face
it's
it.
not me?
Yeah. Let's face it. I work in a man's world, right? And I meet a lot of interesting people in my life. I mean, from my patients to the people I work with and whatnot. But there's a couple of men on this job that intrigue me. Now, obviously, you see, I can talk, but I just want to listen to them. I don't want to talk. And other than Ray, when we've been through this battle with Sal, I met such an interesting man, and I love to talk to him. And I really find him intriguing. And I never told him this, but he'll find out now. And his name is Tim Duffy. And what I've learned about Tim, it fascinates me. It fascinates me the way he thinks, where his heart is, and what he wants to do. Now, we're talking about a man that is not healthy. We're talking about a man that was a firefighter in September of 2001. September 11, 2001. We're talking about a man, from what I know, and I might need to be corrected, but when those towers fell, he put his bunker gear on and he got on a motorcycle. And he drove from his home on his motorcycle to ground zero. And he was in a cloud of dust with his motorcycle. So you talk about where were you and what did you do that day to help? I mean, let's put this in perspective right now. He went there on a motorcycle and a bunker gear and was ready for work. With no protection, was ready for work. And he worked. He dug. Looking for his brothers, he dug. You don't find people like that in this world. Now let's fast forward. Tim is now retired, and he's not healthy. But even as unhealthy as he is, he's got a mission. So he puts his health aside, like all these heroes do. Like Ray, they put their health aside because they're okay. Remember, the heroes, they don't get sick. And he's got this organization where it's simple. He's the dog whisperer. He goes and he finds a rescue dog. And he trains this rescue dog to be Sal's best friend. That's crazy. That's awesome. And he makes these dog therapy dogs for all of these heroes that have PTSD, that have medical conditions, and he takes not a dime. From what I know, and again, I might need to be corrected, these sorts of therapy dogs could cost tens of thousands of dollars, right?
Yeah.
They're purebreds, they're however dogs are, I don't know, but they're perfect dogs, and they're trained over such long periods of time, and all this money goes into them, and then they're given to people to use as companions. Well, you have this guy named Tim Duffy, who lives in New Jersey, a retired firefighter, goes and finds a rescue dog, probably doesn't have love, and he loves this dog. And then he hooks this dog up with one of our heroes, and he makes it his best friend. And he travels all over to get a little bit of money so he can make this person healthy and happy, whether they have PTSD, medical conditions. And I love to talk to him, because think about where his heart is. Think about what he does. Like Ray.
There's
They're
not
amazing.
many people in
There
the world
aren't.
like Tim.
The last conversation I had with Tim, he was in my living room because we have a crazy dog. He's training Sal and my children. And he tells me he has 3 people, 3 fire department. I believe they're fire department people. But whether they're vets or fire, he's got 3 of them that are sick. I don't know what their illnesses are. Might be PTSD, but they're related to trauma and potentially WTC. And you know what he says? It broke my heart. I only have enough money for one of them, but I need 3 dogs. And again, the same mission like the Ray Pfeifer Foundation does, the same envision, the same goal.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to get to the finish line. He wants to get to that same finish line just by helping.
Yeah.
So to me, these are heroes. Sal and I just want to be able to tell you about them so that they can go out and do, because Sal and I can't do it. We don't know how to do it. But I can tell you how much I love these guys and how I see them helping, hands-on. When you look at a guy and he's going to die, like Ray did, and when Ray could say to that wife or that husband or the children, listen, I know how much pain you're in, but we're here for you and we're going to give you hope. You don't get things like that in this world. You don't get that gift. Ray's given that gift. Tim Duffy, they're giving that gift. They're giving that gift to people like us. It's right over there.
It's the scooter. It's the dog.
It's
the scooter.
whatever it
support.
takes to help the person
Whatever.
make their life, quality of life better.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
That's what Ray did for us.
Well, Sal, Wendy, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having
You're
us.
true heroes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.